Go.
I think it's evens the playing field.
2-4-6 open adds a new dimension to it. You got to prep for it, and it makes the side more important.
I generally like it, but I think it's too fair, and I wish it'd be more like a 3-4-6 or a 4-4-6.
And I think the 2-4-6 makes a whole lot of sense because it takes the baton toss at the beginning, the 3-2-1 baton toss at the beginning. I think that takes a lot of that out of it because that should be more of a coin flip where it shouldn't give a team a great advantage, which I think a 6 opening does give too much of an advantage.
2-4-6, I think it makes sense that it's fair beginning, equalizes the team in a setup, but I think it takes away from the lag, and I prefer the traditional first way 6 at a time.
Just keep making noise, you know, this is just a video here.
I'm not 100% sure on how it all works because I never really have done it. Not a fan of what I hear, mainly because I think the leg is so important, should be so important. It's not now because of that.
Go.
I do practice Kubb, but usually it'll be just setting it up like a regular game, and I'll just play against myself back and forth, and then sometimes I just set up and all I'll do is drill, or all I'll do is 8 meter, but it's never enough.
Okay.
All right, I'm probably not the best person to ask about practice because I really haven't for the past 5-6 years very much, but the last couple months I've been practicing a lot. My backyard is not set up very well for a full pitch. If I go the long way, I can make one, but it's not wide enough, so I really just set up Kubbs from 8 meters and try to get as many out of 10 as I can or whatever. And then lately I've been trying to do a lot of drilling, but not real good when it's this cold out, so I set up something in my garage that's got like a pad and then some plywood and some carpet and some astroturf just all layered on top of each other. And then I try and just make it land the way it should and practice on it as much as I can, but nothing really that organized, just trying to get my game as good as I can, considering how little I've practiced in the past.
My thoughts on practice throughout the year. Before a tournament, I put a lot of time in, depending which tournament I guess too. If it's a Wyndham one or Lamberton one, there's not much practice. But before nationals, especially the last three weeks, put a lot of hours in. Before Lopet, our goal is twice a week, at least, sometimes more. And then the rest of the year, between tournaments, once per week, once per 2 weeks.
And what do you mean by practice? What do you consider
practice? I would say on average, probably about 45 minutes to an hour. Typically drills, if Jeremiah and I are together, it's maybe a little bit of drills and then just challenge matches.
He basically said everything that I'm just going to say because we do the same routine. I do it with him, and that's really my only practice schedule. I don't do a lot of practice at home. We do it as a partner, so we at least get the feel of tournament play with challenge matches afterwards.
Practice for me, see, leading up to bigger tournaments, yeah, it's probably 4 to 5 days a week, half hour to an hour each day, and I try not to focus on one thing too much. Just practice one thing, once it's going well, move on to the next, and leave a good taste in my mouth when I'm done. I don't know if I want to ask you.
All about practice. All about practice. I think it's important to throw, make all your throws. You never know where your team's going to need you. To be able to make all those, any throw that's required of you. When I run into a tournament and there's a shot I missed, didn't make, those are the ones that stick in my head. Those are the ones I practice, those are the ones I get good at. I tend to practice well before a tournament and then taper off as a tournament, as I get close to the tournament. It seems to work for me. And when I drill all 10 Kubbs. When I throw batons, I practice my forward and reverse rotate on the 8 meter. And I practice a hard and a soft shot on 4 meter. And as far as drilling goes, I want to be able to move those Kubbs any direction, depending on when it's needed. Left to right, right to left. I drill both right-handed and left-handed. You make a deep shot, a short shot. You know, it's about being a complete player, I guess, for me. And probably more than anything, enjoying yourself when you're doing it. If I'm not enjoying myself, I'll go find. Yeah, we're here to talk to you a little bit today about the forward rotate. We originally developed it to fight the wind. Had a tough day in the wind with the 8 meter and tried to do something a little different to keep the baton throws a little lower, but backward rotate, keeping them low, didn't seem to be as accurate. So we turned the physics around and rotated it forward. And after thousands of throws, we are far from perfecting it, but we have had better success with it in the wind and in certain conditions. I look at it as another tool to use on the Kubb pitch. It's not the answer to everything, but when combined with the backward rotate, when the forward rotate's not working, we switch back to the other one and vice versa. And the two seem to be a nice combination. When one's not working, maybe we got another tool it is.
Being that I'm not the 8-meter guy on our team, I decided to change things up and go both forward and reverse rotates, and so I tried the forward rotate out. Something that I like about it is that we can attempt to get things out close to 45 degrees and take advantage of that rule as much as possible. Something that will be a challenge is for people to see when a 45-degree throw comes through quickly. They tend to look flat, but I believe in time people will get used to seeing these. Even though they're very much different than the usual reverse rotate vertical throw. So that's something I believe will come. And I like to take advantage of the chance that it could throw short and slide in. So that's my reasons.
I have the same reasons for having it come up short, especially in the wintertime. It slides a lot better towards the targets, but I just had better success with it overall as opposed to the reverse rotate. So I'm almost 100% on that as opposed to using both. So that's where I'm at on that.
Okay.
Just talking about throwing 8-meter throws and doing the reverse rotate, which is just kind of the standard way, that or most traditional way probably over the forward rotate. Tried the forward rotate a number of times, but just never quite get the accuracy with it, and so I practiced a lot more with traditional, and that's what works for me.
I have no experience with the forward rotate besides watching it against me. It's beat me more than once, which you always hate to say that it's a good thing, but it works for some people. I'm not one that's going to try it. I'm just a traditional that I feel like I have better accuracy if I can go underhand without making the baton do something else. It seems unnatural to me. That's what I stand for.
I think it's cheating. I don't know why people have to stoop so low to cheat. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody has to figure out their own style, and anybody that's played Kubb for a while have probably experimented here and there with traditional and new styles. And when Mark created that, I think he's a pioneer, and people are catching on, and I think it's working. And like Jeremiah said, I've seen it used against me too many times, and been on the losing end of that. But maybe something I need to consider. Just haven't put any time in it.
All right, so here we are to interview Mark. He was this year's 1v1 North American champion. And I just got a bunch of random questions that people want to know about Mark. So if he hasn't seen these questions, we're just going to wrap them out as fast as we can and see what kind of response he's got. Mark, are you ready?
Fire away.
What is the longest you have practiced by yourself?
By myself, 24 hours, just not in a row.
What is the best part of your game?
My best part of my game is my humor. A distant second would be my 8-meter, then my 4-meter, then my drilling, and I guess somewhere in the middle is hanging out with my team.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue. That's the color I turn after most tournaments.
Describe what jumping does for you.
Jumping depends on the context, but if I'm playing basketball, my 3-inch vertical doesn't help me at all.
Well, that answers my other question. What is your vertical leap?
There you go.
3 inches.
3 inches.
Okay, so
yeah,
that answers
3
that
inches.
question. All right.
Jumping aligns my body with the Kubb. I look at the Kubb, take a little hop, and aligns my body with the Kubb. That's how I aim. And a lot of people look at it as maybe a little funny, including myself, but it does work for me. And so I'm trying some other maybe less funny looking ways to get lined up, but we'll see what happens with that in the future. But for now, I'm still hopping away. So 176 hops in one match. I believe that was well documented. And like I told you guys, I asked you, where's the rest of them? I was surprised it was only 176. So,
What size shoe do you wear?
what size shoe? An 11.
Okay. What was your favorite pastime before Kubb?
Oh, favorite pastime before Kubb? Oh boy, I did a lot of everything. Spent a lot of time bow hunting, a lot of time fishing, a lot of family time. But lately, it's been all about the kids.
Okay. What is the farthest you have driven to practice Kubb?
I believe that is here in Winthrop, Minnesota. I'm about 3-something hours from home, and that's perfect. It's well worth the time to meet up with the Chaska boys.
You drill with two hands sometimes. Why?
Generally not at the same time. Generally, I do that to get, I like to apply a little physics to everything I do, and I get some better angles drilling right-handed, and then sometimes drilling left-handed. You got to be a little bit ready for whatever pitch you're on, and sometimes you're on the right side, sometimes you're on the left. When I drill right-handed, I can get some better angles. I do a left-right bounce with both hands. I also do it in the winter time because I like to keep my baton hand warm, and I'll drill with my left hand, so I let my left hand get cold and it's not my throwing hand. I've had some success with that. So there's a reason for the madness. Reason isn't always known even to me, but I like to try a little bit of everything to try to become more of a complete player.
What has been your favorite Kubb tournament that you played in thus far?
So far, it would be hard for me not to say the 2014 1v1 North American Kubb Championship. Hard not to, but at the same time, you go back to 2013, same tournament. It was my first tournament ever. What a lot of fun for that. My first team tournament was the Loppet down in Minneapolis on Lake Calhoun. Hard not to forget that one too. That was my first team tournament with my brother. I do enjoy playing with my brother as well as the rest of the boys from Chaska, and they all blur together after a while. So after the 1v1 in 2014, they do kind of tend to blur together, and you remember little bits and pieces of all of them.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Earliest, I remember getting a shot at the doctor, and it still pains me to think about it. So, and I'm 44. That was about 41 years ago.
Before you throw a baton, what do you envision?
What do I envision before I throw the baton? First of all, I ask myself, maybe I should get a puppy. And I think about that for a while. And then I'm asking myself, what's for dinner? And then I'm like, I wonder if my wife turned off the curling iron. And I'm like, probably not. So then I picture my house on fire. And then I go, oh yeah, time to hit that 8 meter. And then I throw.
Okay, before you throw a Kubb, what do you smell?
What do I smell? The smell of desperation rings loud through my senses. Definitely.
Okay, so you mentioned the 1v1 already, but
Yep.
what is next? Think about repeating. Are you going to be able to repeat as 1v1 champion?
I intend to be back. I have found that this game possibly is one of the most humbling things of my life. The minute you think you start getting good at this, it humbles you. It'll humble you every day. And I'll be back. I will be back. I try not to get ahead of myself, though. Let's see what the year brings.
Who would be the most rewarding victory against P?
I'd probably have to say J.P. Larson. For a whole host of reasons. He's just one of those guys that brings it out in me. He brings out, just like now, he brings out my sarcastic side. He brings out my my competitive side in me. So to beat J.P. Larson, it puts me over the top.
Doesn't happen very often.
Well, but so it's sweet when it comes. Yeah, sweet when it happens.
All right, up or down?
Let's go up.
Okay. What does Meredith think of Kubb?
Meredith, she generally tries to avoid it. When she's watching me play Kubb, she generally heckles me. And so I use that as practice, as distractions, getting ready for a tournament. So I let her do it. And on top of that, I don't have much choice. Like the sign says in John's garage, a man's home is his castle until the queen arrives.
Right. And we play on all kinds of different terrains. What's your favorite?
It's hard not to say, and I've only done it one time, but infield clay. And I think you all know why. Other than that, short grass, not tall grass, short grass, and you can get the Kubbs to move when you're blasting a little better. I practice on all kinds of surfaces. I practice in my shop, I practice on concrete, I practice on carpet, I practice on short grass, lawn grass, wet batons, dry batons. It's all part of being a complete player.
Who do you most like to bunk with on our Kubb trips?
Well, let's say we were to bunk. I think I've only bunked with Brother John, but I look forward to bunking with the entire Chaska team at some point.
Mark, what happened?
At some point.
You got a good experience, I remember.
Kubb, yeah, it's part of being a complete player to bunk with all of your mates, Kubb mates.
And the very last question: if you could change one thing about you, what would it be?
If I could change one thing, I'd probably have to back off on possibly one of my greatest talents, and that is my sarcastic side. I'd want to back off just a little bit, not terribly, but just a little bit. Not a big change, a small change.
Well, we hope you appreciate this interview with the champion. Look forward to more from Chaska Kubb in the future. Have a good day.